This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic!
What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is November 6th, I believe it is, 2025. I'm wishing it was October 6th so I could go back to how excited I was on October 6th. But it is November 6th, 2025. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin, how are we doing?
This is just, Jonathan, we are 2 weeks into the season, and this has already been a roller coaster ride that I just did not expect or did not ask for. I'm just thinking back to last Wednesday, we sat here and the sky was falling, and then Sunday we were recording and we were like, okay, we're making some progress, and now we're back to the sky just completely collapsing. So I'm not enjoying this so far, but how are you doing?
Yeah, I think I'm at one, obviously, I'm not feeling 100%, but that's neither here nor there. The show goes on. Outside of that, though, I'm as close to panicking as you possibly can be without just full on blown panicking, just because, we'll talk about it, but I still believe that this team is too talented. Shots aren't falling, obviously, for a lot of guys, in particular, some of our best guys. And at some point, the team just has to realize that no matter what happens on offense, they just have to defend. They have to keep doing that. We've had an identity of that for too long. Guys have been in the league for too long, have been in too many games to not understand that, hey, no matter what happens on the other end of the floor, we have to defend. And if they can get back to that, this team is at least a 50-win team, even if the offense is terrible. Right? If they can find out how to get the main guys going, find out how to get Desmond Bane going a bit more, get him some better looks, but not much else changes, right? This is a team that won 47 games a couple years ago, fully healthy. And if this team can just get it together, figure things out, maybe they won't be as good as maybe we thought they could really be, reach the potential of that team. Maybe not this year, maybe. Who knows? We're going to talk about all of the things that everybody else is talking about, all the things that everyone is thinking. But this team should just be able to roll out of bed and win 45 games if they just defend. And if other things work out the way that we hope they could offensively, this is a 50-win team. There's no reason you can't still be that, even though you're 3-5 currently.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Okay, really quickly, before we get into the meat and potatoes, as they say, this episode is brought to you by AJ Burst, Jay, Carson Chulo, Bill Fulton, Irish Magic Mike. These are some of our Hall of Fame and elite tier patrons. These are the folks that help us do everything that we do here at the Sixth Man Show. If you'd like to join in on the fun, get some cool benefits, or hang out in our Discord community, other benefits that we have, you can head over to patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show and pick whatever tier is best for you. Every little bit helps. We love our patrons so much. We give brand new patrons a shout out as well whenever we have them. So if you join the Patreon today, you'll get a shout out on our next episode. So big shout out to all of our patrons. Again, head over to patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show. All right, Kevin, let's go to the state of the Magic. So far this week, the Magic are 0-1 with a loss to the Atlanta Hawks on NBC, on Peacock, in front of the entire world to see. Looking at the standings, we are 3.5 games back of the Bulls. We are currently sitting at 10th in the Eastern Conference. So as bad as everything has been today, if the season ended right now, you'd have a play-in game in Atlanta against the Hawks. And then I'm not real confident of how that would go, at least right now. But you're still in this thing, okay? 3.5 games back of the Bulls, 2.5 back of the 76ers and Pistons, 2 back of the Bucks, a game and a half back of the Heat, Knicks, and Cavs, 1 game back of the Raptors and Hawks, and you're tied with the Celtics and the Hornets. I want to pause really quickly here on the standings. As bad as everything has been, the fact that the East kind of seems flipped upside down of what we predicted it would look like at the end of the season not to say that the Bulls, the Sixers, the Pistons, and the Bucks and the Heat have not been playing good basketball and that they can't be good teams. I just still not. I don't expect any of those teams to finish in the top 3 or the top 4. And because of that, the other teams that we expect to be there, right? The Cavs, the Knicks, maybe the Hawks. Those teams you're a game or a game and a half back of.
Right.
So as bad of a start as this has been for the Magic, and it does feel like a wasted opportunity because this team very well, if they would have played up to their standard, could be first, second, or third in the East right now, and everything would be great. But all that to say, the way that the Eastern Conference has shaken out so far, you have to feel fortunate that, like, if you can figure this thing out in the next couple of weeks, you could still be the 1 seed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I 100% like believe in that.
Yeah, the fact is the Magic have played 8 games in an 82 game season. You know, we are at the 10%, technically mathematically, not even the 10% mark, right? Like, there's still 90% of the season to go, which in some respects is a silver lining, right? Like, as bad as it's been, there's plenty of time to turn it around. I think where most Magic fans, at least I'll speak for myself, and I would guess that some Magic fans feel this way as well. It's less about the record and more about the optics, right? Like, it's one thing to go 3-5, but to be competitive in games or to really display your identity, but you're just not getting the job done, right? It's a totally other thing to be 3-5 and have the style of losses that this team has put together of those 5. And honestly, the wins too, like opening night win, not convincing. I don't want to say it was lucky. It wasn't lucky, but, you know, a couple more possessions and that game could have gone the other way. But your other 2 wins are against 2 of the worst teams in basketball. And while, you know, one of them was a big blowout, one of them was a pretty solid, you know, late or second half win, I would say. It just doesn't really boost the confidence, I think, of this fan base. And then again, talking about the losses, some of those are really bad. I don't think any worse than Tuesday's loss against Atlanta. So I agree. It's a long way to go, and mathematically so much time to make up ground and to storm to the top of the East. But it's just about the optics for me right now.
All of that to say, I don't know that I believe that this team is going to turn around in the next couple of weeks. And we'll talk about all of that. Can they? Sure. Will they? I genuinely don't know one way or the other. And that's a question that we haven't asked in a while. Like in previous years, we've always felt pretty confident that, hey, this team is not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting. They will find a way to turn it around. And at this point, I don't know how I feel about that. So, taking a look at the rest of the league in some of the advanced metrics, the Magic are now 23rd in offensive rating, which they were the last time we recorded. Not much has changed there. Their offensive rating is 112.9. They have slipped out of the top 10 in defensive rating. Now they are 14th in defensive rating with a defensive rating of 114.3. And now I think they were 9th in defensive rating. Now they're 20th. I'm sorry, in net rating. They're 20th in net rating now, with a negative 1.5, meaning per 100 possessions that the Magic play, they're being outscored by 1.5. And at least they're 6th in pace. You know, at least at the end of the day, we can hang our hat on the fact that, hey, this team may play really bad, but they play fast, baby.
Wow. Yay.
We are 6th in pace with 102.94 possessions played per 100 possessions.
Woohoo.
And to that, I say pace for what?
Yeah.
Pace for what? We talked about this throughout the preseason. That something about this team, even though you were winning games, the team didn't look right. And part of it was because we didn't see rotations that we would expect to see in the regular season. And hey, to Jamal Mosley's credit, he's still playing some lineups that we don't expect to see in the regular season. Like last night, there was a several-minute stretch with a lineup that didn't feature Jaylen Suggs, Paolo Banchero, Desmond Bane, or Franz Wagner. And we said multiple times throughout the offseason, throughout the preseason, that should literally never happen unless you're just decimated with injuries. And right now, that's not the case. So that's concerning. But we keep talking about this. It seems like this team has sold out their identity for the sake of pace. And the thing is, all it is it's the same offense as last year, just doing it faster. And I don't see how doing a bad thing faster makes it a good thing.
Yeah, and
we don't have the results. You're still the 23rd team in offensive rating.
Right. Yeah, I was about to say it's one thing if we had pace and offense, but not defense, right? I mean, that's the way of a lot of NBA teams these days, and not that I would prefer that, but at least that would be better than this, you know. So if there was pace plus offense, I'd be like, I see where this is going, but to have pace and no offense it's not great. The part that I think still bothers me, and let me put it this way. There's a lot of blame being put on the pace, and I think rightfully so. But at the same time, we are still having the same problem that we had last season, where guys are open. Like when it comes to our three-point shooting, the Magic are still generating, not completely, not entirely, but they're still generating mostly good looks from three. And I think Tuesday night against Atlanta was a great example of that. A lot of good looks, but for whatever reason, they just can't knock them down. And so is pace to blame for some of the problems? Of course it is. But I don't think it's 100% of the problem. I think still shooting is, which we knew it was going to be a problem going into the season. Like you don't have a historically poor shooting season and you add two players and just expect to be great. Like that's not how that works. But the fact that it has been as bad as it has been is just add it to the list of concerns.
So the Magic right now are basically like middle of the league in terms of like wide open 3-point frequency. So they're not getting great looks there, but they are, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. They're 25th in the league in terms of wide open 3-point percentage.
Yep.
So like I can live with this team being like towards the middle of the league in wide open 3-point frequency. A lot of that is just because like teams are still daring you to shoot and knock down shots, and being 25th, 20 whatever in terms of 3-point percentage from there. Like we're shooting 33.8% on wide open 3-point attempts.
Yep.
And like over like 2/3 of the league is shooting at least league average or above, that 36-37% on those. So it's really not great. And then if we go in terms of 3-point attempts, we're at 31 a game, which I believe is even less than we did last year. I want to say last year we were around 32, 33. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
And then in terms of 3-point percentage, we're 21st in the league at 33%. So pace for what is essentially where I'm at, because if the defense doesn't matter, literally nothing else matters. And I said this last night, like I tweeted it out, that if you're not going to defend, you're not going to take care of the basketball. Jamal Mosley said after the game that he didn't prepare this team well enough to play this game. This is now, I believe, the second time in 8 games that he said something like that. We've got a real issue on our hands. So we will table that part of the conversation for a little bit later in the episode when we talk kind of big picture things. But like I said, I'm about as close to panicking as you can get without like full blown panic, just because you have 2 or 3 good like shooting games where like all of a sudden the offense isn't affecting the defense, and we can just kind of lock back in on that standard that we have to defend every single game, and guys start to get a little bit more confident from behind the arc, and now all of a sudden like we're off and running.
I hope so.
Like I that is all that it takes, but it's asking a lot. I will fully admit that. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah. Part of the reason why I'm with you, I'm almost to the panic button, is because we are just about out of time. And by that I mean you came into the season knowing that the beginning of the schedule was very favorable, and we've botched it. We've just absolutely botched it. And that continues only for about 5 more games. You got the Celtics double this weekend, which they're no pushovers. I know they're not the same as last year, but and one of those being an NBA Cup game, and so maybe the teams are more up for that. Who knows? But you got the double with the Celtics. You have the Trailblazers at home, but that's the second night of back-to-back for us. But still, you have the Blazers at home. You go to MSG against the Knicks, so obviously that's a tough one. But then you come back home next Friday the 14th against the Nets. That's the 5-game stretch for me. Like, to me, if the Magic can't get it together in that 5-game stretch, I'm really worried, because after that, I'm just going to rapid fire what the stretch is like after that. You're at Houston, Golden State, Clippers, Knicks, at Boston, at Philly, at Detroit, home to the East leading Bulls, home to the Spurs, home to the Heat, at New York, at Denver, at Utah, at Golden State, at Portland as part of a West Coast road trip, and then you're at Christmas. I mean, the schedule after these 5 games just ratchets up to a different level. And I'm just concerned if the Magic have not found some rhythm, some sense of a rhythm by then, that this could get really ugly, and that scares me.
Yeah.
If you own a home and you're looking to sell, or maybe you're looking to buy a home, or maybe even buy your first home, we want to let you know about Posit Group. They are your home team on and off the court. They're not just the real estate partner of us here at the Six Man Show. They're the real estate partner of the Orlando Magic this season, and it's easy to see why. With over 1,700 5-star reviews and the 2025 Orlando Weekly Best of Orlando Real Estate Company, they know the Central Florida real estate market as good as anyone. Ken and his team are amazing, and they love the Magic fan community as well. And so if you are looking to buy or sell a home, or maybe someone you know is, someone in your family, coworker, neighbor, friend, family member, whoever, if they're looking to buy or sell a home, go to Pozik.com, Pozek.com, and reach out to them and let them know that you're looking to buy or sell a home, and I promise you, you won't be sorry. Again, that's Pozek.com. Big shout out to Posit Group for sponsoring the show.
This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Jam Hot Chicken, who are now not only located in Winter Park, but in Winter Garden as well, over at the Crooked Can Plant Street Market. Jam Hot Chicken is bringing jams, culture, and hot chicken to the heart of Central Florida. Jam Hot Chicken is a Nashville and LA-inspired hot chicken shack, locally owned and operated again in Winter Park and Winter Garden. Their Winter Park location is 400 West Wayland Avenue, Suite 13 in Hannibal Square. And again, in Winter Garden, you can find them at the Plant Street Market. Follow them at Jam Hot Chicken on all social media. Check out jamhotchickenfl.com to access their menu, online ordering, music playlists, and all things Jam Hot. Also available on Uber Eats. So if you don't want to leave the house and you're local to one of their locations, you want to get it delivered, download the Uber Eats app. If you're stopping by or you're ordering online, be sure to use code SIXTHMAN, SIXTHMAN, for 10% off your order, whether you're getting the Sando or the box or their new 6-man wrap as well, which was a limited item and now is a staple on the menu. Be sure to stop by. Let them know that the boys over at the 6-Man Show sent you. And now let's go ahead and get back to our episode. Quick look at the injury report. Just Mo Wagner still. We haven't really heard any updates on Mo Wagner. I think it's probably going to be at least probably another month before he's even close. I mean, he was hurt, I want to say like
December 15th is what's in my head. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, I know it was December. I was thinking
it was,
like the 23rd
closer to Christmas.
or the 27th.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was Christmas. Yeah, it was closer to Christmas.
It was the Miami game, whatever that was last year. But yeah, doesn't seem like he's going to be back anytime like relatively soon. And again, this is just a quick little mini rant, and it's like something that's so stupid most people like aren't going to care about it at all. But we tweet a lot of things out. Okay, the thing about Twitter that is like critical, paramount to being on that app, if you don't have reading comprehension, you're going to struggle on there. So last night I tweeted, I said, it feels like one of the only, there's only a couple of things that can pull us out of what we're in right now. One of them is Mo Wagner. And people are like, if you think Mo Wagner is going to fix this team, and they're like freaking out. And it's like, read between the lines, people. I'm clearly trying to be subtle about the fact that it seems like there's a coaching issue right now, or at least there could be a coaching issue. I was going to table that, but I mean, everybody that is listening to this at this point, they saw the Hawks game. And we will talk about the Hawks game and kind of what happened. But that's the hot button issue right now. Everybody is saying fire Jamal Mosley. Everybody. I know you had the post-game live last night, and it was just wave after wave after wave. Especially, even you were reading through the chat. Even before you got to the start of the show, you were just reading fire Mosley after fire Mosley. Yeah. I don't know if that is the answer, but I also cannot tell you that it's not the answer right now.
Right.
And I don't want to be here saying this after 8 games, but if 2 out of the first 8 games, Jamal is saying that I didn't have the team prepared, and to his credit, I don't even know that that is true.
Right.
But he is the type of guy that will fall on the sword for his guys, and he'll take the heat so it doesn't end up on his guys. So everybody remember that, first of all. But it seems like an awfully big misstep to increase the pace of what this team was doing just to do it faster. And at the beginning of the season, it sounded like maybe we could theorize that, maybe this is what's causing the issue with the defense. But it's really the only thing that has really changed. I mean, you've plugged in KCP. I mean, you've plugged in Bane for KCP, and you've plugged in Tyus Jones for Cole Anthony.
Right.
Pretty much everything else is the same about what this team is doing. But they're not defending. They're hanging their heads, and they're getting their butts kicked essentially every other night right now.
Yeah.
And the reason that everybody's talking about the coaching, because there's been people saying fire Jamal Mosley for the last 3 years or so or whatever, just because some people are always going to blame the coach no matter what happens.
Right. Yeah.
But at this point, it's the only real change you can make. You're not going to be able to make a big trade. You don't really have pieces on this team outside of the top 4 guys that you don't want to trade. Outside of that, you don't really have things that are very valuable to the rest of the league. And what else is funny, Kevin, is people keep saying, oh, well, hey, at least we're going to have a good lottery pick. It's like, hey, we don't have a pick, guys. Right. We don't have a pick this year.
Yep.
So if there is going to be a change, there may or may not be, the only thing really that you can do would be to fire Jamal Mosley.
Yeah. It's hard because the part of my brain says 8 games is too early for something like that. That's sure. The part that I really struggle. But again, the optics of watching this basketball team right now, you just go, what are we watching? Especially, I know we keep saying we're going to talk about the game Tuesday, and we will. But especially Tuesday night, this team just looked like they never had a chance. And if you ask me, on paper, that's just not acceptable. If you look at the roster and the talent, and compared to the roster and the talent of Atlanta, and I think Atlanta's a good team. They're a well-built team, but they are without their multi-time all-star, and pretty much mostly the engine that makes them run. He's gone. And so, it just felt like it's unacceptable. And so that's where I'm just so conflicted. I'm so conflicted. And I also feel like Mosley has earned a pretty sizable leash, for overperforming over the last 4 seasons. Honestly, I think he has. But at the same time, like I just mentioned, we are right on the doorstep of a season potentially unraveling, bad, based on what we're seeing. And I do not envy Jeff Weltman or the DeVos family or whomever gets to contribute to some kind of decision. I do not envy their position, because they have to weigh all those things, and they have to weigh not just this season, but future seasons, right? It's a big deal. And so if you're asking me on November 6th to state an opinion, I'm not to the point of fire Mosley. I'm not there, but I don't blame people that are there. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think the other thing is okay, let's say the whole, I don't want to say the reason, but let's say the solution is just getting a different voice in the room. And at this point in the season, Joe Prunty is a guy who has interim head coaching experience and has had like some success in those instances. I think a couple of times actually. Milwaukee, and there's one other that I can't remember right now. But let's say that is the option, is like, if nobody else wants to come here at this point in the season, I'll say this. I don't know that you can move off of Jamal Mosley unless you have a guy like waiting in the wings. I don't even want to name names right now because I don't feel like that's fair to Jamal Mosley. People, you can theorize of who you think the kind of candidates would be, but I don't know that you can make that move unless you have like a proven guy that's going to come in and is going to like garner the attention and respect of the locker room from day one.
Right.
So do you, let's say it's 15 games in, not 8, right? Let's say you're 15 games in. Do you go to an interim head coach for 67 games with everything that you have invested in this team? I don't know that you can do that. On the other hand, let's say it's 15 games in and you're 5-10 and the wheels have just come off and the vibes are bad. I also don't think you can just roll out the rest of the season given the amount of expectations that have been placed on this team. And if you do that, right? Like if this set of moves and this iteration of this team is always and will always make or break Jeff Weltman's tenure here in Orlando. If it works out, he's going to be here forever. If it doesn't, he's going to be gone. That's just the way that these kind of things work out. And if Jeff Weltman starts to feel that, hey, maybe at this point in time, Jamal Mosley is no longer the guy, if nothing else out of like job self-preservation, he may just have, hey, this is the only other lever that I can pull, or at least seemingly to us it is. Maybe could do other things that aren't super obvious to us, but it just doesn't feel like the Magic have a lot of buttons that they can push at this point. They went all in on this iteration of this team, have invested all of the money, all of the draft capital. So if like we're not able to pull out of what is like a perceived nosedive in this moment, there needs to be a big change.
Yeah. Again, I just go back to, where is that line? Like what point do we reach that?
I'm glad I'm not the guy in charge of putting the line wherever it needs to be.
Nope. Yeah, it's tough.
Because I genuinely don't know. Part of it is because we're just not around the team.
Right.
But it's also like, hey, you better be sure about the guy that's coming in here if you do make a move like that.
Right. Yeah. And the thing with how talented the team is, like I just mentioned, these next 5 games, and then it gets really, really tough. This team is talented enough to figure it out, even in the tough parts of the schedule. Like I really believe that.
Yeah.
But it just feels so daunting considering, how we're playing right now. I mean, think about the losses, right? Like obviously Tuesday's fresh in our minds. That's a good team, but without their best player. You think back to the first weekend with that back-to-back against, again, Atlanta, who, again, wasn't fully healthy then either. And then Chicago the next night, and neither of those, I mean, they were close, I guess, but this team just never clicked. And then, you take it on the road, and I don't know. It's all piling up right now, and it just feels hopeless. But again, that's where I have to look at the calendar and go, we've only been in this season for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. A lot can happen. As bad as these last 2 weeks have been, the next 2 weeks can be perfect. It's just too early for me to jump ship. But again, I don't blame people that are doing that.
Yeah, and I think the thing for me, like we've talked about the criticisms of Jamal Mosley that others have and that we've had ourselves. The biggest thing for me is that, like, again, just with the talent that you have on this team, if you are able to get the amount of health and like relative production that you got out of guys 2 years ago, this is a 50-win team, and you're like the 4th seed at worst, which some of us would be like, oh, the regular season didn't go quite as good as we thought it could. But like no Magic fan is at a point where you should be like turning your nose up at a 50-win season, right? Although I could still understand if you were slightly disappointed that the team didn't achieve everything that they could in the regular season. But then it's like, okay, you have home court advantage in the first round. You should win a playoff series, and then you should have a very competitive second round against whoever, right? But for me, a lot of the problem at this point is that Jamal doesn't really seem to be taking the next step as a coach. Like, the criticisms that we've had of the past few seasons are still kind of there when it comes to the rotations, when it comes to timeouts, when it comes to the offense and the offensive system that you're running. Like, the offense doesn't seem any different other than it being at a faster pace. And I understand people that are frustrated with that. And the one thing you could always hang your hat on was the defense and the team playing really hard for you. And if you don't have that, which we were able to overlook a lot of the other shortcomings because those were just like such massive strengths, when they stop becoming strengths and you're like, wait a minute, are guys just like not buying into like what he's saying anymore? That might be harsh, but I do think it at this point it's a fair question because it's 8 games in. You know, he got into them after what game was that? Was that the Detroit game? Like, yeah, he got into them after the Detroit game saying you have to sit down, you have to take pride in defending. They did that for a couple of games, and then the Atlanta game was just like, why even show up and play that game is what it felt like.
Yeah. Before we transition to that Atlanta game, Jonathan, I do want to go back to one thing. You know, we were talking about the injury report when you mentioned Mo Wagner, and then, you know, we kind of went on talking about the whole Twitter thing. And anyway, that's where we got here. I have one other thing when it comes to the injury report. We are 2 weeks into the season now. And to some level, I understand Jaylen not playing back-to-backs, but why is Jaylen still in the same minutes restriction that he was 2 weeks ago? I'm struggling with that because obviously, you know, this was a long injury. It took him a long time to get back, but to see zero change in his
like 19 to 21 minutes,
precisely that, not a second over. To not see it gradually go up over the course of 2 weeks and still be missing back-to-backs, I just don't really understand that. And it feels like same old Orlando Magic training staff risk versus reward. But that's another thing that's bothered me. Now, to be fair, Jaylen hasn't been the most consistent player on the court for this team. But, I mean, who has at this point other than a couple guys? So I don't think that's the reason we're losing is because Jaylen Suggs isn't playing 25 to 30 minutes. But I just don't like the fact that we're not seeing any change at all.
What's insane is, like, if you just look at his raw numbers, they look really good. I mean, 20 minutes a game, 10 points, 4.3 assists, 3.2 rebounds, 2 steals a game.
Yep.
Shooting 53% from the floor and 39% from behind the arc.
Yep.
And 90% at the free throw line. He hasn't looked like the same guy defensively, though.
Right.
And I don't know if that's the injury, if that's the rhythm. I still don't think he's like 100%. I think he's probably playing at like 90% right now. But last night he had like that baseline kind of like double clutch turnaround dunk on the baseline, which is like, that was like the first like, wow, like what an athlete kind of offensive play that we've seen since he's been back. Like, there's been like a lot of, floaters and, layups and stuff that he's taken where, he might have been able to get to the rim a bit more aggressively. But he's taking like even more gambles than usual, it feels like, defensively. And certainly taking more gambles offensively with the basketball. Like last year was 2.9 turnovers in 35 games. That was kind of understandable because a lot of those games he was just being asked to do so much without Franz and Paolo. But the 2.8 that he's at right now would be the highest of his career since his rookie year when he was at 3 a game. Those turnovers need to be at or around or below 2 a game. The like behind the back passes, the wraparound behind the back between the legs dribbles. There's just been a few too many of those for me. But you are 100% correct. The fact that like we haven't gotten like a 22-minute or a 23-minute game. Now, to their credit, the last 3 games have all been kind of out of reach. There was no reason for him to play late into either the Charlotte or the Washington game, or really even last night. So who's to say at this point? Maybe he would if these games were a little bit closer, but I'm not just like, turning my nose up at that. I don't think it's nothing, because he's still only playing in these like 3-4 minute stints.
Yeah.
Even early in the game.
Yeah.
So
I don't
definitely
understand
seems like
it.
there's something to it.
Yeah.
All right. The Magic played the Hawks on Tuesday on NBC and they lost. That's going to do it for this one. No, like, to me, all you have to do is like genuinely look at the quarter by quarter box score in this game. 32-23, 32-24, 34-30, and then 29-35. The Magic only won a single quarter in this game. And what's jarring to me, Kevin, Hawks are 4-4. Okay. Trae Young, has missed most of the last couple of games here. They have a ton of new guys on their roster. So it's not like they're world beaters or anything just yet. But my concern for this Hawks team was like, all right, how fast are they going to be able to like put it together and like really find themselves with all the new moves? The Hawks, as it is right now, have by far and away a more secure identity than the Orlando Magic have.
Yeah.
And that is really troubling to me. Like, they are legitimately a good defensive team now with KP, with Jaylen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the rookie, like Cason Wallace's brother. What's that gentleman's name? Keaton Wallace, with Okongwu and Gueye, like Dyson Daniels especially. Like, they are a really solid defensive team now. And they just dominated the Magic in like every aspect this entire game. The Magic didn't seem like they had any type of flow or mojo or like get up for this game. They did come out like pretty strong in the third quarter, made a little bit of a run, and then immediately gave it back. And then, like, to me, that was the game. And then there's the play a little bit after that where Onyeka Okongwu is kind of on a one-on-one fast break with Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane grabs his arm, throws him to the floor. Love the foul. I'm totally 100% on board. Hard foul. These guys are kicking your butts. You're trying to get your guys fired up, whatever. Take the flagrant one. Doesn't really matter. One of the dumbest things I've seen was him then turning around and spiking the ball essentially off his head. It was hilarious. Don't get me wrong. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, wait, he didn't just do what I think he did. And then as soon as they review it and you see, like, no, he absolutely did what I thought he did, there was not any possible chance that they weren't going to eject him.
Yep.
And although you didn't lose the game right there, but that pretty much ended the game. Like, the game was probably over. You were probably going to lose that game. But in that moment, like, you're down 65-79 at that point with 5:24 to go in the third. So you still have 17 and a half minutes left in this game. You could have found a way to come back in this game, but Desmond Bane getting ejected was kind of like the final nail in the coffin of this game.
To me, what's kind of, well, I'll put it this way. If we were up 20, 25, 30, that would have been the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. Like, I would have just loved it. It's just one of the, and every Magic fan, like, you just love stuff like that. If Bane's playing well and if the team is up big and all that kind of stuff, but the fact that obviously the game is one thing, but the fact that Desmond Bane hasn't been playing well in his first 7,
and he was actually hitting some shots.
That's the thing. Like, finally, he was shooting the ball well as he's shot it since opening night. And then that's the night that he decides to do that. And what also bothered me were his post-game comments about this, because he I think it was Jason Beatty who asked him, like, were you surprised that you got thrown out? And he was like, yeah, I was surprised. Like, really? Come on now. Either he's in denial or he's just saying stuff or doesn't want to own it. I don't know. But I'm like, how did you not know? You had to know. Like, if you didn't think you were getting thrown out, then you missed it. But But yeah, that whole thing was very, very frustrating. And again, the game was still winnable. It was ugly, but this is the NBA. We saw the Bulls come back from down 24 the same time this game was happening. It's very possible. And so the fact that Desmond Bane, and by the way, in order to have comebacks like that in the NBA, you need 3-point shooters. And so the fact that who's supposed to be your best 3-point shooter wasn't available for a potential comeback just didn't help. It just didn't help. And yeah, I think that was just, again, you add it to the list of all the things that are piling up there, adding to the frustration around this team. And yeah, I don't think that helped at all.
This is the quote. Beatty's question is, Desmond, what happened on that play where you were ejected? And Bane said, a hard foul. I mean, we talk about that, no easy baskets, nothing at the rim, make them see the lights, a hard foul. Totally fine. Then it said, a hard foul. I swiped at the ball and it happened to hit him and they made the call that they made.
Yeah,
brother, you look directly at him, you grab the ball and you clearly throw it right at him.
Yeah.
Like very obvious.
Yeah.
And then he says, yeah, I was very surprised that I got ejected. I'm paraphrasing here. I wasn't expecting anything beyond a foul, honestly. Come on, man. Everybody saw it. Everybody knows what happened.
Yeah.
That now, look, I don't like the Hawks. I like the little chippiness, the interdivisional stuff, but it just can't happen in that moment, in that spot. And once again, Kevin, on national TV for the whole world to see, we just keep getting our butts kicked. Outside of like the Cavs game late last year, the last like 2 or 3 years, every time we're on national TV, we just get our teeth kicked in.
We're just cursed on so many levels. I'm convinced. The 3-point shooting, the national TV, like, it's just rough. It's rough.
Okay, quick look at the box score, and then we're going to get out of here. Paolo, okay game. 22 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. Near triple-double, but 6 of 16 from the floor. 0 of 4 from behind the arc. 37.5%. We're not going to win a lot of games with Paolo shooting 37.5%. He was 10 of 12 at the free throw line. He was a +2, the only starter on the team with a positive plus-minus. Franz, 18 points, 6 of 15 from the floor, 0 of 3 from behind the arc. Just not good enough. Wendell, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 of 8. I thought Wendell was okay at best, like what was fine in this game. Desmond Bane, 9 points, 2 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 4 from behind the arc, got ejected, not good enough. Jaylen Suggs, 20 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers. Like a fine Jaylen Suggs game, had a couple of moments that like were just really not good. But like you're only getting 20 minutes out of him. I don't know how much you can ask him. I would like to see like just a little bit more like ball stopping. Like you don't always have to just be like the agent of chaos, which we know and love you for, but like I just want to see like a little bit tighter, like shut down on ball kind of defense out of him. Tristan was great. Tristan, awesome. 20 points, 8 of 11 from the floor, 4 or 5 from behind the arc. Like single-handedly kept the Magic in this game.
I was about to say,
like he's big stretches.
He's the reason this wasn't a 30-point game. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, he was huge.
And then everybody else, like Anthony Black, 26 minutes, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block, 2 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 4 from behind the arc. There's just too many like possessions that are ending in a Anthony Black pull-up or an Anthony Black 3. Just far too many possessions. Yeah. Like it's what the defense wants to give you and we're taking it, but it literally should be like the last thing that we are taking right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
and
just not good.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things like last night, obviously I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't know what Atlanta looks like as far as the spectrum of the NBA and how their defense ranks, but they defended last night how I like to see the Magic defend in some stretches. Not all night, they weren't perfect, but the fact that they were forcing a lot of late Magic shot clock attempts, right? Like that's something we saw a lot last night. And part of that is the offense just, I don't think was very good at all. Like, I mean, like you said, some stuff ended up in the hands of Anthony Black or whomever, but part of it is I think Atlanta's defense was quite good. And I feel like they deserve some credit for how they battled without Trae Young and how their defense looked.
Yeah. Part of it is like how their defense looks, and I think a big part of it is just how bad our offense is, to be quite honest.
Absolutely. And their defense gets better with Trae out. Let's be very clear about that.
Oh, for
their
sure.
Their defense definitely gets better with him out.
Tyus Jones played 8 minutes in this game, was 0 of 2 from the floor, had an assist and a steal, was a -7 in 8 minutes. Like, are we approaching the point where you just can't play Tyus Jones?
Again, if he's knocking down these wide open threes, wide open, by the way, if he's knocking them down, I might be able to live with the other stuff, but he's not even doing that. And so at this point, like, what does he bring? What does he bring if he's not hitting the wide open threes that are being generated, which aren't a lot, don't get me wrong, but he had 2 of them last night, wide open. At what point? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Until he starts making threes, you can't play him. You just can't.
Trying to pull up the team totals right now so I can find what Tyus Jones is shooting from 3 on the year. He's 2 of 15 from behind the arc. 13.3% from Tyus Jones.
Is that good?
It is not, Kevin.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know if you have the advanced stuff in front of you, but I would guess of the 15, I would guess that 8 of them are considered wide open, like 6 feet or more. The defender, like that's just a guess off the top of my head. But the fact that he's 2 of 15 is just.
If you keep talking for like another 15 to 20 seconds, I can find that for you.
Well, here's the thing: I can talk about just about anything, but especially this team, the Orlando Magic. No. That's the thing with Tyus Jones. We were promised assists, low turnovers, and 3-point shooting. Well, the assists aren't happening because right now he's not being trusted with the ball because he didn't generate great offense in the preseason nor the early regular season. And so now they're playing him off ball, trying to get him open looks. That's an exaggeration. He is getting a couple open looks a game just based on just the flow of offense and other options not working out on possessions, but that's not working.
He's 2 for 13 on wide open threes.
13 out of his 15 are wide open.
2 for 13. He's shooting 15.4%. 50% of his 3-point attempts right now are wide open.
Yeah. Sounds about right. That's crazy.
There's just, if we're telling guys that we're playing to win this year and you continue to roll out Tyus Jones there, you're spitting in the face of your roster.
But it goes back to the question. If you can't play
Jaylen
Jace
Richardson.
Yeah, that's fair.
Play Jace Richardson. Like give him a freaking shot.
That's fair. Yeah, give him the same shot
like
you give Tyus.
At least at the bare minimum. Teams are still shooting over Jace when he plays because he's just a smaller guy.
Right.
But at least he's keeping guys in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
At least he's going to give you a little bit more off the dribble. And when he finds his shot and finds his confidence, I really think that he's just better than Tyus Jones right now.
Yeah. No, that's good. Give him the same leash you gave Tyus Jones at the beginning of the season where Tyus was playing 20 minutes. Why not? Start it with 10 and see what happens.
8 minutes a game and you're going up, can't play him tonight.
Right.
Up, can't play him tonight. Up, can't play him tonight.
Yeah.
Like just throw Jace out there, man. Like see what happens. Give the kid some run.
Yep. I'm with you.
Because Tyus is not it, man.
Not it.
Not it at all.
Yep.
Oh, all right. I mean, yeah, you've got the Celtics and then you've got the Blazers, and the Blazers are 4-3 right now. And are like top half of the league in defensive rating. They've got a positive net rating on the year so far. Like that's not like an automatic win like it used to be a couple years ago.
Yep.
I just, I get the people that have no faith in this team, like with its current iteration and all that entails of being able to figure this out and pull the team up. Like, and I want and need to see like Paolo and Franz, the body language to be better, and those guys just try to will this team to win.
Right. And
even if this team looks how they looked against Boston last year. Because guess what? A lot of nights, the way they played in those games is good enough to beat a lot of teams.
Right.
You're only beating the freaking the pooper scoopers right now of the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just be like, hey, guess what? Hey P, it's Franz, or hey Boog, it's P. It's on you and me tonight to go out and get this one.
Yeah.
And just get it done.
And I'd like to think that one of the things that could help turn the season around, in addition to that, would be the home crowd. You got 3 straight home games coming up this weekend. 3 out of 4 nights. I'd like to think Friday night, first off, the Magic debut the statement jerseys Friday night, so that's going to be cool. It's the NBA Cup game. It's the Boston Celtics. It's Friday night. It's all those things. I'd like to think the crowd is amped and in it. And if the Magic play well and if the Magic end up with a good result, that could snowball into the next game and so on and so forth. That's what happens in my mind. But what could also happen is if the Magic go out there and stink it up on Friday, that's where the home crowd could really start to turn. And I don't mean in the sense of the Celtics fans being loud. I'm concerned, again, going back to the original conversation at the beginning of the show, that the wheels start falling off and the crowd will not just be lethargic or not care, but quite the opposite, like voice their concerns and make Kia Center not a pleasant place for the Orlando Magic to be, which in years past would have sounded ridiculous. But this year, we have seen, Jonathan, in our own content that Magic fans, and rightfully so, we do too, Magic fans have a high expectation for this team. And the fact that the team is not meeting it, they are louder than ever when it comes to their dissatisfaction for the performances of this team. You and I talked about it, looking at the post-game lives and stuff. This is year 3 of those. The previous 2 years when there were losses, nobody cared. Nobody tuned in. Nobody was in the chat. Nobody was tweeting us. Nobody was doing anything. They're just like, yeah, this team lost. This year with losses, the numbers, like you Magic Maniacs are all over it. You're all in the chat. Like you're fed up with it. And if things don't turn around quickly, and if the Magic don't get some good results this weekend against Boston, I don't know the last time we heard boo birds in Kia Center aimed at the Magic. But that is the territory we're getting in if things don't start looking better and looking better really fast.
Yeah, we're seeing more of a response in content to losses than wins. And it's almost like, yeah, we expect to win. And right. When we lose, it's like, yo, this is not okay.
Right, which is 100% correct. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, the Magic fan. No, like that is the expectation. That is correct. That is how it should be. And it's not something we generated, like us fans. Like this is something generated by everyone, players, coaches, front office. Everybody said, win now. This is the time. Let's go.
Championship is the standard.
Championship is the standard. And so, yeah, it's totally justified to be feeling that way. So
part of you has to wonder, like, are those expectations getting to this team? Like, are the lights too bright?
That's fair.
At least at this point. Do they wake up and get over that? Maybe, but just a lot of question marks around this team right now, and would love to get some positive answers immediately.
Yep.
All right. That is going to wrap this one up. We'll put a bow on it. We appreciate everybody for listening. For Kevin Tucker, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You all have been listening to The Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!